I'm bringing you live one of my good friends, special guest, Judge Jasmine Twitty. She was the youngest judge appointed in the United States history at the age of 25 in Easley, South Carolina. She's also been featured on the Forbes list as a trailblazer. So, no further introductions. Judge Twitty, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. How are you, Bartu? Doctor Bartu.
I'm great. I'm great. Man, haven't talked to you in a while. How you been doing lately?
Hanging in there, just embracing the silver lining in the midst of this pandemic.
Yes,
and you
understand that. Definitely. Understand that. So I know a lot of people want to get to know you, who you are, and how you became the youngest judge at the age of 25. So first, let's give a little background information about you. Who are you? Where are you from? And how did you get started?
Born and raised in Greenville, South Carolina, and I knew as early as elementary school that I was interested in the role in government. And the reason being is because I always believe those that are in a position of power have the ability to influence and shape society as we know it. And I thought, you know what? I want to be a part of that, right? So as time progressed and I matured, went on to college, and towards the end of my college career, I made the decision, instead of moving forward with professional school right at that moment, that I want to see where my professional experiences led me. So shortly after college graduation, I returned back home to Greenville, South Carolina, and I started working at what was then the only 24-hour court in South Carolina. So being in that setting, which I consider to be the classroom for my career, if you will, my background, my foundation rather, working there, being surrounded by judges, working hand in hand with law enforcement and local agencies, I realized that I could eventually attain the experience and knowledge necessary to become a summary court judge in the state of South Carolina. So once I came to that realization, I just became intentional about making sure I positioned myself and was prepared to, be appointed at some point.
That's good. So, yeah. That's good. All right. So you came back. How old were you when you first started working with the court system before you got
I was 21.
21. So you knew at a young age that you wanted to do this.
So I knew at a young age that I was interested in a role in government. Never in my wildest dream did I think about becoming a judge. I didn't think about becoming a judge until I had started working as a clerk at the 24-hour court in South Carolina at that time. So once I realized that was something that I could do, I just kept at it and I didn't stop, and I'm still going till this day. So I've been appointed a judge now 5 years. August of this year will make 6 years.
Oh, congratulations on that work.
Thank you.
So what are the steps to go from working as a clerk to becoming a judge? If you don't mind breaking that down, just in case someone else out there is listening and wants to take those same steps.
It's a great question. Be mindful that the steps to becoming a judge vary from state to state. I will speak specifically to South Carolina. So as it pertains to my career path, obviously I started as a clerk court in a summary court. And as I said, it was a 24-hour court, the only 24-hour court in the state of South Carolina at that time. So a little bit about that court, with it being a bond court, it is where the initial proceeding take place in a criminal or traffic case. And so what that means is in South Carolina, a defendant has the right to be arraigned within 24 hours of their arrest. And so that's where bond court comes into play. And so in that role, I was responsible for preparing the legal documents that the judge needed and completing whatever research that they needed that went into ultimately the judge making their decisions. And then as it pertained to law enforcement, whenever they came into the office to get a warrant or what have you, helping them to research whatever judicial statutes or codes or laws that they needed to use to present their probable cause to the judge. Yeah. And so again, firsthand, experience with that. I like started to apply for like vacancies within South Carolina. And I applied like everywhere imaginable. And sometimes I got interviews, sometimes I didn't. If I did interview, oftentimes I didn't get a call back. But I got my first yes in 2015 from the city of Easley. And so, you know, after I was appointed, even starting to, you know, preside in court, I had to pass a certification exam, in which I did prepare for that through like self-study and, you know, with the help and guidance of my colleagues and mentors. And fortunately for me, I actually passed the exam before even going to judge school. So again, it's just about like being intentional about preparation. And it really was for me a moment of like preparation met opportunity. I was forever a student, constantly learning and wanting to know more. Anytime legislation changed, I wanted to know why it changed and how it affected those that it was meant to protect and serve. And obviously how it ultimately affected the courts and how we would have to like change our processes and policies moving forward.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.